Hi alchemists, I'm here to share with you the energies that we have for the full moon in Libra coming up on April the 1st. Libra is an energy that in this moment of the year is going to help us create balance with all the fiery energies that we have coming up in Aries for the month of April, which yesterday I recorded a video for the energies of April. So if you haven't watched that, it's in my profile. You can check it out also. So Libra comes as this oasis of beautiful energy that we can anchor ourselves with to create balance for the actions and the energies that are going to ask of us to bring out the best of us. And that may not always come gentle or easy or in the right moment. Sometimes the Aries energy can feel like, I'm not ready for this, but I still have to go and do it, or I still have to jump into the unknown and take a risk. So Libra helps us maintaining that inner strength, that center within us to deal with the situations in our lives. Now for this full moon in Libra, which is happening at the 12th degree, the moon in Libra, 12 degrees, and the sun in Aries, 12 degrees, for a full moon there always has to be an opposition of the sun and the moon. The sun is bringing all of its light to the moon for it to be illuminated. Now, this axis of Aries and Libra is the perfect example for an opposition, which an opposition in astrology can feel like a conflict at first, where there's like these polarities and extremities like fighting with each other because they're so different. But the opposition always asks to walk closer to each other to find the center. And the opposition is the aspect in astrology that correlates to the energies of Aries and Libra. Because Aries is the I am this is what I want, this is how I want it. And Libra, in the other extreme, sometimes is like, well, I don't know what I want. Why don't you tell me what you want, and maybe I will also want that, or let's talk about it. Maybe I want this, but I'm not so fixated on that, so we can talk about it and do something different. But sometimes there can be even like a need in the Libra energy to harmonize and to avoid conflict and to always give the other person what they want so that we don't go into a conflicting energy. And any of these polarities can fall into the shadow expressions. So when they come closer, Aries and Libra can teach each other beautiful balance so that they can work together in knowing what I am, knowing what I want, but I can also talk with you and see what you want and what you want and how you want it. And if it's different things that we want, then we can harmonize with each other and we can try to find a center where we both can be satisfied with the outcome. So this is what Libra in this full moon is inviting us to do, to harmonize in our lives. And we generally take these aspects of Libra to interpersonal relationships, like between humans, but Libra goes beyond just the relationships with human. Libra is the relationship we have with life in all of its expressions, and also with ourselves. In this full moon, Venus, which is the planet that holds the rulership of Libra, just entered Taurus, which is also another sign that it rules. Now, because it's a full moon in Libra with the Venus in Taurus, it's clearly speaking of terms and relationship that we have to look at within ourselves. Also because the sun is in Aries, which is about the I, the me, right? So this is all speaking about, how do I relate to myself? What is the relationship I have with myself, with my confidence, with my inner security? And how from that space do I relate to the many aspects of life, including other humans, including my work, including my art, my craft, whatever I do. So this is going to be amplified in this full moon. All these messages, all these internal aspects, all these ways in which life can bring us lessons and messages about relationships in general, this expansion will happen because Jupiter is also in aspect to the sun and the moon. At the moment of the full moon, Jupiter is sitting at the 15 degrees of Cancer, which is conjunct Sirius in the sky, and these energies are forming a T-square. What in astrology we call a T-square is an aspect of major tension. It's like there's a resistance, there's a complexity, like I don't know how to work through this, I don't want to work through this, there's internal resistance. And the transit of Jupiter in Cancer is for a year. It started the middle of last year and it will end in July of this year. And Jupiter in Cancer has been inviting us to connect with our past, our ancestry, to look at traumas, to look at things that have happened, but in a very like mother-like energy. And I'm sure for a lot of people it has felt intense how that process has gone, but the invitation of Jupiter in Cancer is to go through past experiences with love, with compassion, with softness, and not necessarily with so much intensity. But it will depend on how we are and the situations that we're dealing with in our lives. So in this full moon, Jupiter is coming to expand this fire from Aries and this air from Libra, creating this stormy-like sensation at first in order to bring out the information that needs to come out, and so that we hopefully can deal with that with the water of Cancer that invites us to be mother-like with ourselves. Because Libra is an air sign that has to do with the mind, sometimes it resists going into the water, into the emotions, into the parts that are most vulnerable. And it tends to avoid or to disconnect into the mind or into the reason, into the intellect. But in this full moon, Mercury, the planet of communication of the mind, is in Pisces, another water sign, and is forming a trine with Jupiter. This is a beautiful aspect that is fluid, it's easy, there's a harmonious conversation. So Jupiter and Mercury have to do with the rational mind, Mercury, but also Jupiter goes beyond the rational mind into the subjectivity of life to try to comprehend things from many different angles and perspectives, expanding the awareness, going beyond what the mind can comprehend so that we can tune into something higher, for us to see what is going on in our lives from many different perspectives. And especially because Mercury is in Pisces, it invites us to reflect, to go inward, to go into introspection, to take moments of reflection in silence. Because it can be a beautiful moment, this full moon, to embrace the energies that are coming up for April, which are very fiery and are going to invite us to step into the warrioress that we have within, to confidently do the things that we have postponed, or simply take risks that we have not dared to do, that we know are going to change the course of our lives for the better. So taking advantage of this, also because Mars is in Pisces also at the moment of this full moon and is doing a sextile to Uranus. This is also a harmonious aspect. A sextile is talking about opportunity. And Mars and Uranus are two planets that are all about freedom. Mars is also the ruler of Aries, where the sun is at the moment. And this opportunity, it's bringing to align action with right relationship between the mind and the heart, and the feeling of Jupiter in Cancer, so that anything that we are doing is really felt from the heart and does not bring any distress or doubt or nervousness, but it's aligned, it's felt, it feels right. So Mars sextile Uranus, it's also the opportunity to align the irrational actions that we sometimes tend to do with higher awareness. Uranus, which sits at the final degrees of Taurus, inviting us to also connect with our bodies and to feel the earth, of the element of the earth, to tune into the wisdom of our bodies and what feels right. So look in your charts where you have these energies, where you have the sun at 12 degrees of Aries, what house you have there, where you have your moon at 12 degrees of Libra, what house you have there, Jupiter at 15 degrees of Cancer, what house you have there, and this will give you and expand information about where exactly you can place your focus right now. Let's remember a full moon is an illumination. It brings forth emotions and information and things that we need in this moment. So all conversations we're having with people, all the things that are coming forth are things that are there to show us something. They're becoming visible for us to see. It is a moment of harvest. It is a moment of culmination. So if you're going through a closure of something, it is also a beautiful moment to tune in with the full moon to let go of what needs to be let go and to be open for the new. So if you have any questions or if you want to share how you're feeling during these energies that we're going through, I would love to read you in the comments. And I always encourage you to seek guidance and to ask for help if you're going through a confusing moment. If you don't know what to do with something, maybe you can call a friend, you can talk to somebody who you trust, you can go on a session with someone that you feel you resonate with. So we're not alone, and this is also something that Libra comes to teach us. We are not alone. There's many ways that life has to help us deal with things. So thank you. Happy full moon in Libra, and I'll see you in the next video.